Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing some drywall mudding, sanding today. I don't know if that made any sense. We're going to be sanding drywall mud today. That makes more sense. So we've got the living room, some patches in there to do. We've got some in the hallway, and then we've got most of the ceiling and the walls in the kitchen is the main part of what we need to get done for sanding. I've got my vacuum set up over here. I've got my sander set up down there. I'll show it to you later. But let me walk you around and show you what we got to sand and then get to it. Basically everything you see that's white needs sanded. It's been coated with mud once or twice, maybe 3 times, depending on how bad it was. Some patches on the ceiling, because this will all be textured with an orange peel texture. And so I need to get it smooth enough to where it hides all the flaws, of course. And then in the past videos, you probably saw me build this box. This is around the ducting for the heating system, and there's the return right there. But we're gonna sand this and that, the whole kitchen ceiling, the whole walls, and my screen is, let's do a wide angle there. And then the heat vents come out there for downstairs. There's gonna be a double louvered door right here, which will be nice. But we've got everything, as you can see, cleaned out, so there's nothing that belongs to us on the countertops that can get dusty. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the day, just sanding. And I gotta kind of hurry because I had the tenants upstairs turn the heat off, because right now we're sharing a heating system. And Copper is staring at me from the window as I talk. And so it doesn't suck the stuff, all the dust, anything that does, the vacuum doesn't catch into the filtration system and into their apartment, because that would not be good. So I gotta hurry and get it done before it gets too cold in the house, because it's like 20 degrees outside. So let's get going. Okay, so that's as far as I could get with one vacuum filter. So I'm gonna have to go out and blow out the vacuum filter. But just so you know, we're sanding this hump out so it's a little smoother. We're gonna have to come back and we're gonna have to add some mud later in the spots that are a little bit low. But we'll get that fixed out. And then the spots that I forgot, like up here, it's taped with one coat, but it's not second coated. And then these areas, they're pretty good. But they've got some little, I don't know if you can see it. Got some air bubbles in it. Yeah, probably can see it. But we'll get rid of those air bubbles, and then we texture. The little air bubbles will go away when we texture. But anyways, we got this sanded up to here, and we're kind of handicapped because since my truck is broken down, all my tools aren't exactly where I am all the time. So I'm missing an extension cord. So I'm working from outlet to outlet. So we're starting in this outlet over here, and then we'll work to that one over there, and then work our way around them. I think we'll be able to do it with enough outlets. So there's a decent amount of reach. So anyways, let's go clean that filter and get back to sanding. To the good part, we have gotten everything sanded, which is nice. I kind of skipped a lot of time lapse, that way you don't have to sit there and just watch me sand all day long. But a couple hours later, probably like an hour and a half, well 2 hours including lunch, because I stopped and had some pozole, which is amazing Mexican soup. If you don't know what that is, it's got hominy and pork. It's really amazing. I love it, and I keep buying it because it's pretty good in the store-bought form. So that's pretty good stuff. So anyways, rabbit trail. I am in the basement of our house where we live. And it's all smooth now, except for all the little blemishes. Like if you get real close, yeah, you can't see it. But there's blemishes all over the place. So I had to come back and hand sand and get rid of all of the little things like the little scratches there, or a piece of hard stuff got in the mud as I was coating it. And then I vacuumed everything. So let me get a further back view. So we got the washer and dryer and the refrigerator pulled in the middle of the room because we're working behind those. Let me turn you around and give you a close up of the front camera. That way you can maybe even see blemishes like that. So I need to come back and hand sand those and fill. And then the things I forgot, like this corner, I haven't mudded this side yet because the refrigerator was there. Get rid of that big glob. This will be covered with more of that, except for I'm gonna replace it and make it look a lot nicer. And then over here, I mudded around the light switch because I didn't have a screwdriver the day I was mudding. So I'm gonna come back and fill that in and make sure this bump here is more gone. You can still see a little bit. So work on that and I'll take the vent off. That way I can sand that nice and clean. And then over in this corner, I haven't put another coat of mud here behind this and then down that corner. So I'll work on that. And any of these thin spots where the tape is showing, we'll come back through and add some mud. But overall, it's getting really close everywhere. So that's exciting because now we can texture and paint and then hang the upper cabinets. We're gonna hang cabinets, one above this right here, and then the microwave with the cabinet above it, and then a cabinet that goes along here, and then when it comes out this way, and then when it comes to over here, we'll probably have some open shelving, which will be really cool. It probably won't save any money for changing cabinets out. It just looks a little nicer. So, and now that we have daylight, you can see out this window. It brings in so much more light, which is nice. Do some hand sanding, some mudding, and catch back up with you whenever we're done with that. Well, it's the next day, actually, because it took so long to get stuff done last night and I had other projects to do, like shopping and eating dinner and all that stuff. So we are in the garage right now because downstairs is being cleaned up by my wife because we just got groceries and stuff. So I'm in the garage because I wanted to show you something actually instead. So I had a question on YouTube, underneath one of my videos, about, it's cool that you've done this drywall stuff, but how do you get it smooth? And so I can explain that real quick. So there's a couple easy tools that I use to make it smooth again. The easiest and most simple one is a sanding block. You can get this in multiple sizes. You can get it in little rectangles, little squares with sharp corners like this, so you can reach into like sharp corners, which is nice. And you can hold it. I like the long blocks. This one's kind of like a fine finishing one, but you can get it really gritty grit, like a 36 grit, all the way up to, I don't know, 200, 600, I'm not sure. You can get it really fine, but this is probably a 150. And then also, moving up from that, you can use a pole sander for the flat areas. It's got like a mesh on the end of it, a bunch of holes in it. That way when you're sanding on the wall, it allows the sand or the dust to go through it and doesn't clog up because it's, I mean, it does clog up some, depending on how moist the stuff is. But, and then the stepping up from there, they also, well, let me back up here. They also have one that doesn't have a handle on it, like the big long handle, but it has a handle for your hand and you can use it in your hand. It's a lot simpler. Sometimes I use those. I hardly ever use these because I'm usually doing remodels. And so working on big flat surfaces, it's usually not that big. So you usually don't have enough room in bathrooms to swing that around. But if you're upgrading from that, you can get one of these. which you saw me using, so I don't know if I really have to explain it too much. But it's just a pole sander. It's got a orbital sander on the bottom here with holes in it. Different grits of this paper you can get too. It's just Velcroed on there. And then it sucks air through that, through this hose into your vacuum cleaner. So it picks up the dust real nicely. I got one of these because I had to do a bigger project, and it was nice to be able to run it across the big flat areas instead of hand sanding. And I was inside someone's house. So even though I had everything taped and masked off, it was nice to have all that, as much dust as possible, vacuumed back through that into a filtered box, like a vacuum. So anyways, hopefully I answered that question. I can show you how they work real quick. I mean, it seems a little simple for me, but if you've never done it, you've never done it, like I always say. So pretend that this is a rough drywall edge, which it is. It hasn't been mudded twice, it's just been taped. But you can take this and just clean up your edges. And then once you get better at doing drywall, you won't have as much to sand because you won't have a lot of globs to sand. You'll get really good at it. When you use your trowel, you'll push real nice and tight on the drywall side and make it smooth. And then if there's a crest in the middle, it'll sand out real easy. As far as using the pole sander, it's the same thing. You just, you put it on there and push up and down and push a little more on it and get the dust out. Pretty easy, lemon squeezy. So anyways, that is how you sand drywall. Hopefully that wasn't too random miscellaneous, trying to keep that light bulb behind my head so it's not in your eyes. But anywho, that is the end of this video. I'm going to be texturing next, which is what this doohickey is. This is a hopper gun. They have a lot more expensive ways to do it. Basically, what this does is you mix the mud really thin and you pour it in the top of here and you hook this to compressed air and you just splatter it on the wall. And then I have little adjustments on here. And depending on how much you mix the mud, and you make it thin or thick, it'll determine how much globbiness the orange peel is on the wall. Usually I just mix it pretty thin. I don't really have like this much water, this much drywall mud. Just make it nice and thin, and then I turn up the pressure real high because I like the orange peel to be kind of fine and cover everything nicely. So anywho, hopefully that helped. It's 22 degrees in the garage right now, so it's a little chilly, so I'm gonna go back inside. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one. And probably, I'm hoping to start filming that on Monday because I'll be texturing. We want to get our living space done before Christmas, which is coming up really soon. So I'd be really happy to get that done, and my wife would be too. So if we get the texturing done, we can do the painting, and everything else is just kind of knick-knack stuff. Getting those cabinets hung will be sweet because right now everything's in the lower cabinets, and it's really a pain. I mean, a first world problem pain of getting your glasses and your clips and everything and your plates from underneath on lower cabinets. Usually you have your pans and stuff down there, but everything is down there right now, and it's okay, but it's not as fun as it could be if they're in the upper cabinet. So anyways, rabbit trail there. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.